President Donald Trump delivered really his first State of the Union after his election last year on February 24th. It comes at a very critical moment in terms of American engagement with the world. Naval and air assets have been collected around the Middle East in anticipation of a potential set of actions against Iran. Also, President Trump is on the cusp of two very important strategic engagements with the Indo Pacific, and that is the visit of Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi. Quickly thereafter is President Trump's visit to Beijing. I think there was some expectation that the president would spend a bit of time at least talking about international relations. But the president spent most of his time talking about domestic and political issues. There were a few references to international politics, but they were scattered and they were not organized in the way that we would traditionally find in many State of the Union discussions. So, for instance, the president did describe the steps that he and others are taking to ensure that the tariff policy remains intact. He indicated that most of the countries who had already negotiated outcomes with Washington were going to maintain the criteria that had been established. He talked a little bit in glancing terms about the war in Ukraine, very little about allies and partners, and really a substantial break from previous States of the Union, almost nothing about China. One quick reference about the provision of Chinese technology. The real purpose internationally, I think, for the president in his address was to make the case why the United States might resort to the use of force in Iran. And I think there have been substantial arenas of discussion about the possibility of a major set of military actions and whether that might lead to a large regional conflagration. What the president outlined to the American people was that it was unacceptable for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And I think on that basis, he is making a case for an open hand. Ultimately, this State of the Union did not have as much grist for our mill in terms of understanding the way forward for President Trump on the global stage, and particularly with respect to the Indo Pacific. He did hail some of the work that Secretary Rubio has accomplished internationally, and it was one of the rare examples of bipartisan support. So I think the best I can offer to colleagues and friends is stay tuned.